Cutter's Degrassi Unpopular Opinions. Heather Holder, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Degrassi Unpopular Opinion. So I did some posts for the Degrassi Reddit, and this happened 23 days ago. And this, for context, is being taped on May 18th. So this was April 25th, I think, 2022 when I posted this. Anyway, here's what I say. This is unpopular opinion. Cam staff helped Maya and Zig become better characters on the show. That's what I say. I mean, what were the writers going to do with those two, Maya and Zig, if it wasn't for Cam making things a love triangle? It made Zig a bad guy in a way who figured he needed to change for Maya's benefit because he thought he was the one that got Cam to kill himself in the memorial garden. He still was a prick to Maya, only caring about her when he couldn't have her, as she was with other boys. And with her in his clutches, he wasn't bad as a boyfriend, but it could have been better. It was also a good excuse to put depression into a multi-season storyline with Maya's issues not being clear till the bitter end. That's close to next class. And have someone try to fix her PTSD issues. Emma, I don't think, recovered that well after the Rick Murray storyline with hints that her cause helped bully Rick and she stopped being a cause girl because of that and not really having a boyfriend or friends. I think Cam's good was good for Maya's sake to be prominent members of Degrassi, kind of like Rick's staff helped Degrassi students be in a better light than if Rick was alive and on trial because the school would have had issues of the yin yang. Have at it, I said. I only got 3 comments. So, for context, let's talk about this. In season 12, Degrassi got some new people, and they were a hockey team. Different players from different backgrounds, like Luke from Florida, Dallas, from Guelph, but being a black hockey player, and Cam, a hotshot from Kapuskasing, 10 hours northwest of Toronto. So anyway, they were playing. Cam fell in love with Maya, who was still the cello virtuoso, as we all know and kind of like. And he liked her. But Zig was upset that Cam was going after Maya because, Zig wanted to be with Maya. And it seemed that Zig only wanted to be with Maya when the issue called for it. But the fact of the matter was that, Zig was mad that Cam wanted to be with Maya and basically got Cam to lose his focus at a ball hockey thing. And basically, Cam got suspended by Principal Simpson, I guess rightfully. Maya did not defend Cam when she should have. Cam was showing issues of being stressed from hockey, so he was in deep trouble from his teammates and all that. Cam does come to Maya and apologize for his actions. Maya lets him stay the night because it was too late for him to go out. Nothing happens. Cam leaves the house with Maya's stuff Al Hoot. And basically, that was that. Maya was told by Cam, I'm sorry, it's over text. In the meantime, Cam's waiting for Maya, where Zig tells Cam to stay out of Maya's life forever. So Cam decides to kill himself. Eli sees the body. Of course, we don't see how he died or know how he died because the writers did not want suicide to be glorified. The simple fact is that, it could have been anything. He could have slashed himself. He could have basically hung himself. Or he could have even took himself out with garden chemicals. I mean, he was in a greenhouse after all. And as someone who worked in a greenhouse 3 years ago, and as someone who has to deal with soil compound with garden soils, now like Canadian Tire being part of the soil compound, I know about garden stuff. I know about toxicity and all that stuff. I have to take courses on that. So yeah, that's the thing. And let's see what my people have to say. Pancakes and Ketchup said Saya, that's Zig and Maya, literally was built off someone's suicide, and Maya still didn't want him. Lol. I don't know if Maya really didn't want him. I think maybe Maya in the back of her head decided not to be with Zig because he was responsible for Cam's downfall. Samsoni said Sampsoni said, "Why would that be an unpopular opinion? That is pretty obvious. Two newcomers were integral parts of the main storyline for that season. It was designed to get them immediate exposure." And basically, something about that's not how suicide works. About, a lot of things. I can't remember what Samsoni was trying to get at. But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is that, I think in a sense that Maya and Zig might have been like pushed to the side in a sense after season 12. After the Cam suicide made Maya and Zig more faceted into Degrassi's writing and all that. The simple fact is that, Maya wasn't much of a character before Cam's suicide. And I know that Zig was introduced kind of around the same time as Cam. But to me, Zig basically was a jealous prick. And the fact of the matter is, I compare Zig to Veronica from the Archie comics. Note I have to say comics because the CW show is a whole lot freaky and I don't want to fucking get into it. Main reason is because Betty's mother is a bitch. She's a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But the simple fact is that Maya, Zig liked Maya. But when Maya was with other guys, he was jealous and possessive. But when Maya was with Zig, it seemed like Zig didn't want to make things work. It's like Veronica, as I said. Because Veronica was jealous of Archie hooking up with Betty, but yet Veronica pushes Archie a little too hard in the vernacular, in in the comics. Well, that when she has him, there's a famous Archie comics story that says that Veronica is told by Dilton that no, Betty's told by Dilton that Veronica craves competition, and the simple fact is that if Betty thumbs off Archie and doesn't think about Archie, then Veronica will not go after Archie, knowing that, he's not good enough for Betty. Why is he good enough for her? So basically, that's what happens. Betty and Archie end up secretly dating because Veronica dumps Archie off. And then, Betty starts to finally realize her ways and says that she cannot be sneaky. But Veronica, I think, knew that. And she knew that Betty's conscience would catch up with her. But the simple fact is that, it brought the Zig and Maya thing. I kind of hated Zig and Maya because Zig seemed to be possessive of Maya, and maybe, just maybe, he takes advantage of Maya's caring nature because he was in that gang, remember? And he probably takes advantage of the fact that Maya was weakened because, she lost Cam and she should have done better. It wasn't not all her fault. Let's say that much. But the simple fact is that, you know, it's the writer with the way the writers portrayed these guys. I think it was like inevitable that Maya and Zig probably would not have lasted longer than season 13 or even 14. But yeah, it brought Maya and Zig to the forefront of character development. I mean, you got yourself a lot of people such as like, uh, Allie and Claire and that group was about their times was about to pass, so they needed to pass the torch to the younger generation. But of course, I had no clue that after Degrassi season 14, I thought it was over. But then they went next class. I'm like, what? So yeah, so I feel in a way that Maya and Sig might have been pushed aside by the writers if it wasn't for the suicide plot. I'm not saying suicide is good and all that. That definitely does not work on me, Sunshine. But the fact of the matter is that Maya and Sig were better for Camp Suicide. Camp Suicide basically was the best thing that could have happened to them to be other than the Degrassi Lexicon. Fight me on it. I dare you. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond.